Hello, this is Mad Cat, and welcome to another edition of Boobs. Boobs? What the fuck is wrong with me? Boobs! How can I forget the word boobs? Boobs and dicks smash the matriarchy.
Mad Cat, and welcome to another edition.
That literally always happens.
A plus.
Every time.
A plus intro.
The worst intro ever.
Yeah. You failed the intro, and then you have an echo that repeats what you said.
Yeah, I'm Boobs.
I'm Dix. And today we have a special show today, which proves that Modern Medusa is my pimp.
Yeah.
Because we have Andy on here, and she showed her tits, and he suddenly is here. So you know.
Yep.
How about that? Your Twitter and your tits there. It's like I'm scrolling through. I'm like, oh, now I have to watch porn. God damn it. Jesus Christ. I was gonna try and go one day without porn, and then I see tits, and I'm like, all right, xvideos.com.
I'm sure it's that way for a lot of people. I'm just feeding the fire.
Yeah. When I'm on Twitter, I want to debate people. I want to, battle. I don't use that as my source, my inspiration to masturbate. Anyway.
Well, maybe you should follow Mercedes Carrera so you can get the masturbatory in.
I've been following her for a while now, too. Just for it,
We're supposed to do a porn together.
Well, I follow Mercedes for the articles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So it's great having you on the show, Andy. Since I've just learned about you, I've become a big fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I actually, I was just telling you before we started that I'm in the middle right now of a Twitter war with Francesca Ramsey. Have you ever heard of her?
No.
Okay, she does Decoded on MTV News. That black chick who's race baiting, saying all white people are racist, all this. Mm-hmm. Well, she has blocked all my followers using a bot. But then,
yeah, I'm blocked.
Yeah. So she unblocked me recently to insult me, and now I'm trying to have her open up discussion for debate. But why would an SJW want to have an actual debate? I said, I promise I won't call you cunt. Promise you that. And that's a big promise for me, by the way. That's like me giving you my firstborn child. I will not call it cunt. There you go.
Well, you know what? I actually had the same thing happen to me with, or something similar with Gail Dines. Do you know who she is?
No, I've never heard of her.
Gail Dines is like an old school feminist, but she's like anti-porn. So she often crosses paths with Mercedes Carrera. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, I kept saying, I want to have you on my show, Gail Dines. Let's discuss this. And then I would always joke with Mercedes, I keep sending an invite and she never offers. And she tweeted at me, it's like, well, I've never gotten an invitation from you. It's like, well, I've sent you one through Twitter. And she's like, well, just send it to me through my email address. And I'm like, well, if I send it, will you actually consider it? Or are you just going to say no? And she's like, well, just send it and we'll see. I'll take a look. And I'm like, well, no, you're just going to deny. And she's like, I'm going to give you an honest consideration. So I email her and she immediately says no.
See, and this is what is hilarious about this. See, we do what we do to hopefully convince people with what we believe. Wait, my mic's not. Sorry. So essentially, if you're going to try and convince people to believe what you believe, if you turn down debates, then you're just showing that you're either afraid or unsure of what you're even talking about, or believe that you will be destroyed. If I reach out for Francesca Ramsey to debate me, it shows that I'm confident in what I'm talking about and my responses and all that. But if you're obviously trying to hide, especially from you or from me or from whoever, you don't know what you're talking about. What's the point of doing what you do? If I made my videos and then you go, Andy, I disagree, I want to debate you, and I go no, it closes the conversation. I'm just yapping, and then, okay, bye, all right, bye. It's embarrassing, to be honest, and just proves that they're wrong completely. Yeah. When you look at the numbers, too, the likes to dislikes on every fucking video, we don't block our comments and our likes. They do. I made a video recently how a lot of them have either stopped posting or Lacey quit YouTube. You know, like everyone is slowing down. The SJW train is slowing down, and I wonder why. Because we're right, and we know we're right. It sickens me.
Well, you know, and I know how controversial it is to say this, but it's something that Milo Yiannopoulos said on Bill Maher's show, is that if you don't show up to debate, you automatically lose.
Yes, exactly. Like, you are proving to us you don't know what you're talking about. If I didn't know what I was talking about and you debate me or try to, and I say no, it's obvious that I'm not 100% ready with my arguments. You know what I mean? Like, if you challenged me, I'd be like, all right, give me a day or two. Let me figure my shit out. Let me have all my sources ready. That'd be fine. She can take a fucking month if she wants. But to immediately close the door is, you lost. You're done. Bye. You're wrong.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? It's like, if someone invited me to a debate about like fucking quantum, like, no, because I don't know shit about that. Yeah. Or just, you know, some random topic I don't know a lot about. Or I might even go just to learn something. But then if someone denies talking about something that they're supposed to be an expert at, like, what the fuck does that show?
Well, I don't think, you know, to be fair, and I don't agree with you on that assessment that if Gail Dines doesn't want to debate me, she just doesn't know what she's talking about. I think it's that she does, at least as far as she's concerned, she knows what she's talking about. It's that she doesn't want to deal with someone who's going to disagree with her.
Yeah,
she wants to be in an environment where someone just automatically agrees with her or will back down to her. And I think she knew that I wouldn't do that. You know, because I sent her my channel. I sent her some of my videos. And of course, my politics is obvious. It's like, you know, I firmly believe that porn is a necessary thing. And that's something I can actually back up with references in history. Yeah. You know, this isn't just like, I want to spank my monkey, you know.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to debate me because I won't just say you're completely right because you're a woman.
Isn't that what? See, this is the thing I don't understand isn't that what makes debates interesting? Like, that's what makes these conversations great. I don't know if you probably didn't see it, but on my channel last week I debated a self-admitted pedophile. And obviously, I didn't agree with him. He didn't agree with me. But that was probably the most interesting conversation I've had on my channel, primarily because you're seeing both sides of the spectrum. Exactly. That's what makes it interesting. I think they're afraid that you won't agree. It's like that whole thing, you want everyone to like you. I know not everyone will like me. That's completely fine. I know maybe people think my videos are just a bit, I swear too much or I'm a little bit too emotional. And if you don't want to watch me for those reasons, fine. I don't care. I can call out whoever I want if I don't like their videos either. However, in the terms of you have a viewpoint, now try and defend it. That's the whole point of having viewpoints. So it's kind of embarrassing when they go, now I want to be in my echo chamber. Really? Do you? Do you want to be have fun in your echo chamber? I'm sure it'd be a blast there. Do you think they're self-aware though? That's the one thing is, if I said on my last video, if I made videos and 90% of my likes to dislikes were dislikes, I would take a step back and look at the drawing board and go, okay, where am I fucking up? What am I saying that's pissing people off? But I don't think they're aware. They think it's trolls. Like, if you disagree with them, you're a troll. Here's my face. My name's Andy. I live in Mississauga, Ontario, in Canada. I'm not a troll. If I was like, fuck you, man, fuck you, you idiot, then okay, that's troll. But when I debunk your points, that's me.
Well, look at what happened with the Ghostbusters trailer. I mean, has the record for the most downvoted trailer in YouTube history ever.
Yeah.
And yet, Sony and Paul Feig, their responses to, well, a lot of men, misogynist men created bots to downvote us. And it's like, do you really think someone wasted their time just to downvote a video? No.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people out there who hate what you did. And they knew that people had problems, and they even had people come back. They had all of the principal actors come back to do reshoots just to do the YouTube comment in the film.
Wow.
So they knew. They were aware, and yet they just doubled down. So there is a cognitive dissonance with like, oh, well, if someone says something bad about us, it's not a legitimate complaint.
Yeah.
They hate us.
Yeah, and like also, we all know how YouTube works. When we look at likes to dislikes, and then you read comments, you could usually assess, like, if you see 1,000 fucking dislikes to 1 like, and then you read the comments, that will usually mirror what the likes like. So obviously, it's not trolls or bots, because the comments were horrendous on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try and find things where like feminism or whatever aren't even a part of. Like, a new video I'm posting a bit later is the game Horizon Zero Dawn for PS4. Female protagonist. I'm playing it right now. It's an amazing game. Some girls like, look at this. Like this is a feminist message. No, it's not. It's a girl as the protagonist. It's not feminism. It's not feminism. It's right. And then she's like, if you read the comments, some people were like, I won't play this because of a female protagonist. And then she's attacking that point. I go through the trailer. I read the comments. For like half an hour, I'm looking for one person who's like, I won't play this. No one said that at all. Not one. They try and find problems where there isn't problems.
Well, you know, and Sony, I kind of love Sony for doing this. I hate them, but I love them. Is that they blocked any comment that gave constructive criticism. Just to leave the messages on there of saying how evil and awful they were for having women on there.
Yeah.
They made it look like that it was so much worse than it actually was. It's like, all we get is hate comments when people were leaving actual constructive criticism. I know I did, as to why this movie was so poorly received as far as the trailers go. But I'm going to...
Were you erased off there?
I don't know if I was. I didn't bother looking up my comment again. But you know, like, I comment and then I leave. It's like, I don't give a shit about you people.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stop you there, even though I'm loving this back and forth that we're having. We do need to get to the articles.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to start off with another big company departs California. Will last one to leave, shut the lights. So Nestle USA is moving its headquarters from Glendale, California, a pocket suburb just miles downtown from LA, to Roslyn, Virginia, near Washington, D.C., and it's taking 1,200 California jobs with it. Why? As many companies have found, California is an awful place to do business. So the $26 billion a year food conglomerate is discreet, of course, about its reason, citing a desire to be closer to its core customers and other bland corporate pabulum. But the fact is, Nestle and its corporate brethren in California that actually makes things are overtaxed and overregulated. And elected officials treat them not as honored members of the community, but as rapacious pirates. Glendale's sorry, I can't read today. A Glendale official, for instance, blithely insisted Nestle's departure was no big deal, but rather an opportunity. Though Nestle has offered jobs to affect California employees in far-off places like Ohio and Virginia, the city seems to think that it will be able to fill Nestle job void by the growing high-tech job base. So basically what this article is really that's kind of the meat of this article here, but basically California is just trying to act like they don't care. And there's a part here where Nestle, so you may wonder, why did Nestle really go? Well, apart from having higher taxes, absurd housing costs, and more regulation than any other state, California's wacky laws have turned the Golden State into a venue of choice for activist groups to file costly class action suits or to promote anti-corporate PR campaigns against big, wealthy targets like Nestle. In recent years, Nestle has faced two such activist-led actions, both superfluous. One involves allegations that Nestle improperly documented its anti-slave policies. Not that it had employed slave labor, it just didn't document it online.
What the fuck?
So some social justice warriors like, hey, they don't have their anti-slave policies on their website. I'm going to sue them. California allowed it.
Wow. Wait, so Nestle has slaves working for them?
No, they just didn't properly say that they didn't.
What? No. Hey, look, I just opened up my business officially in January, like Warski. It's official. At no area on my Twitter or my website or whatever the fuck I'm not going to be like, by the way, we don't have slaves. That's kind of implied that you don't have slaves. P.S. We don't use slaves. We don't believe it.
I thought the Asian guy was your slave.
Oh, no.
And you used him for tech support.
Yeah, I paid him, though, so that's not technical slavery. I mean, believe me, if there weren't anti-slave laws, bro, I wouldn't be paying him a cent. But, you know, unfortunately, we have these pesky anti-slave laws. I'm just joking, by the way. Someone's going to message me, oh my God, look, Andy admitted he wishes there were slaves.
So I will say this as far as this article is concerned, because, you know, the things that this is addressing about why someone might want to leave California, this has been going on for 10, 20, 30 years. The high taxes, high cost of living, the overbearing system that overregulates everything, that's nothing new. But I can't help but think that this election is the reason why. And not because Trump got elected, but because Hillary didn't. California voted for Hillary Clinton. California's all 55 votes went to Hillary Clinton. And yet, Californians decided to riot when Hillary lost. Mm-hmm. How does that make any sense? It's like, hey, even though we did everything we possibly could and we did it, let's go ahead and destroy the neighborhoods we live in.
Yeah.
It's been a mecca for social justice warriors to go to California and to be, you know, snobby and snootish and, you know, to have whatever gender you want. But I don't blame businesses for wanting to leave. And Nestle is not the only one leaving. That from 2008 to 2015, at least 1,600, almost 17 companies have left California.
It's amazing. It's obvious. It's such a telling, and I don't know if you heard about this, but I'm sure you can find it. There are students in California petitioning to remove the First Amendment. If that doesn't speak volumes about what is going on here, that they don't want freedom of speech. Like, that's what makes America awesome, is that, like, even here in Canada where I live, we don't have freedom of speech. We have freedom of expression. And they just passed a bill saying that we're not allowed to talk about Islam anymore. So me talking about Islam in a negative light, I can be arrested, which is why I've stopped talking about Islam, which is obviously very unfortunate. I can't, but that's the whole point of America. You want to yell, fuck Trump? Good, congratulations. Just don't burn shit down, by the way. I swear to God, they gave the floor to toddlers. That's what it feels like. You know when a toddler's like, I don't want cookies, and you're like, shut up. And he's like, I don't want cookies though. And then you're like, fine. That's what America has become with the regressive left. Toddlers. That's so true. I don't want this president. Hashtag. And then us adults have to look down and go, shut up. Just shut your mouth. No, that's not how the rules. I mean, you're all fine and dandy for, you know, the electoral college system, right? But at the moment you don't win, oh no, we should remove it. We should abolish it. Why? Remember all the protests when Obama won? Remember all the burnings of buildings? Remember that? No, don't remember that? Oh yeah, I wonder why. It's hilarious. It's
you know, I do remember before Obama got elected, everyone was like, there were groups out there that were saying, well, we don't want Obama because he's a terrorist. And I remember thinking, like, how offended I was that, you know, just because he was a person of the people, he wanted, you know, to help the people and make the world a better place, that everyone called him a terrorist. And it's like now, 8 years later, I'm looking back and it's like, God, I'm forced to agree with these people. He was a terrorist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the fact that they want to abolish the First Amendment, that someone went around with a petition in some University of California school to abolish the First Amendment, did it as a joke and got a lot of signatures.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of what happened at UC Berkeley with Milo Yiannopoulos. The fact that, you know, the riot actually happened. The police could have stopped it at any time, and they let it escalate to that point because they were afraid of the PR nightmare.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the one thing I'm really disappointed in is the police. Is, you know, I'm a defender of the police because I believe we should live in a society with police officers, or else, you know, there'd be havoc everywhere. I mean, and look at the places in the world with a lot of police corruption. They're disgusting places. They're crime-ridden, murder, rape-filled societies, and it's like almost like we don't want that to happen here, but they're like, no cops, we don't want First Amendment. Hey, if you don't want the First Amendment, go to China or the Middle East. They fucking hate free speech over there, and see what happens. See what happens. And in fact, if you look at a place like Iraq last week, where their rebel military actually went house to house and killed ISIS members, you see the women outside burning their niqab, laughing and smoking cigarettes, and the men are happy for them. That was a beautiful moment where the rebel military had to just go door to door and murder ISIS members and freed certain cities in Iraq from what they're trying to put in America today, which is your freedom of speech is gone. The only reason they're allowed to be on the streets and protest is because the First Amendment, or else the fucking military would be arrested. You want military ruling? You know what kind of society that creates? It's disgusting. And honestly, I just wish they can, that Scrooge Christmas story tale, have the ghost of Christmas. I want the ghost of SJW future to show them what life would be like, right? And now look at this. There's tanks on the street and no one's allowed to protest. And this is the president for the rest of your living life, as long as they serve. Is that what you want? I honestly think they just want the world to be shit. Like, what happened? And this all happened in what, 2015? Early 2015 is when this seriously started happening, and it gets worse and worse, and it's unbelievable. But I think people are waking up. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. What do you think? I believe we're winning this war.
I think the stupidity definitely stands out more than the stands out in a way that to it, that's why so many people supported Trump, I think, is because they're like, well, yeah, these fucking people protesting, especially the Baltimore protests. I think that opened up a few eyes, damn, what the fuck are you guys doing?
It's funny. It's we're debating or debunking to change people's minds. But what's funny is they're changing people's minds with their own actions. You almost don't need us. You almost can just turn on the news and be like, look at this protest. And then people are watching they're destroying the fucking gas station I go to. I love that place. I don't want to support BLM if you're going to be destroying And by the way, when did protests become okay to burn shit down? The police officers should be ashamed that they're not arresting the people at Berkeley who were holding those fences and smashing. You're smashing your school up. And by the way, I had this thought the other day. It's funny how every protest, they destroy a Starbucks. They're just continuously destroying Starbucks. So what does Starbucks do? We'll hire migrants. Don't worry. What happens in the next protest? They're still destroying Starbucks. And the fucking owner of Starbucks is like, but we said we'd help them. And they're like, they don't care. They're just animals destroying shit. It's hilarious.
Well, I will say this, that, you're perfectly right that people are starting to wake up. But I think what we're seeing now is that things get worse before they get better. And the fact that they're getting much worse, to me, is a sign that we're on the right path. That, an animal is most dangerous when it is wounded, and the social justice warrior side is wounded. I think one of you needs to mute your mic when someone else is talking. There's an echo there. But the thing is that there are still people out there that really want to live in cognitive dissonance. And I know I'm using that word incorrectly, but, I've had friends, leftist friends on Facebook that are still defending Black Lives Matter. I'm like, well, every time they have a protest, there's a riot. And it's like, those people are not part of Black Lives Matter. And it's like, yes, but they're okay. Even if they're not part of it, which I disagree with, they're still responsible for it. It's like, they can't control the actions of a few. And then you talk about, having been stuck in traffic and how that's almost cost people their lives. We talk about the baby that was on its way to the emergency room when the traffic stopped, and that baby almost died. And my friend's response is, oh, well, what's a few hours having to sit there in traffic so you can feel the plight of the black man in this country? And I'm like, no. I'm sorry, but there is no plight of the black man in this country. Does racism exist still? Yes, but it's in minor places. It's in pockets of our society. It's not systematic.
Well, and also, here's the thing I always bring up too, is when they go, oh, white people are privileged. And I go, what about all the white people I know who are poor right now, What about the homeless white people? What about the veterans who fought in war who are homeless right now, which is about 100,000 of them in America? Oh, that's just a few white people. What? What are you saying? And what about the black people who are actually successful in life? How do they do it? Did they Uncle Tom their way to the top? Did they have to cheat the system? No, they worked hard. If you're going to be a victim and go, I'm black, therefore I will never rise up in this world, you have just set your path in writing. You've marked your path. That's it. I had to work to be where I am today. I've been doing shit for 10 years for free before I made this a job for myself. And it was treacherous. I went a few months without hot water in my house because I wasn't able to afford the heating bill because I was poor. But you know what I did? Kept working every fucking day of my life. And I don't use any type of victim card. I was beat by my fucking babysitter. I was molested by another babysitter. I grew up with a horrific stutter. I had to take therapy for 5 years just to be able to speak. Do you think have you ever heard me go, well, I'm not doing as well because I stutter and I was beat as a child? No, you work through it. We all have privileges. We all have non-privileges. And the whole point is to make your life work. You think the kid in Africa who has to chase a fucking wild boar with a spear, you think he's like, I have to do this because I'm black? No, he has to do this because he lives in Africa, and that's what they do, is they hunt. Some people need food stamps. Some people need to borrow money from fucking Money Mart. And yes, not everyone is a rich, white, straight male. I get it. Neither am I. I'm not a rich, straight and a male, but and white. But you know what I mean? Being white, straight, and a male has not helped me in any way at all in society. In fact, it's becoming harder for us because now we're all just seen as racist white people. Really? Yeah. I'm a racist white guy? Me and my Asian buddy and most of my friends who are minorities. Yeah, I must hate them all. Get the fuck. Get them.
You know, I 100% agree with you, and I have a lot of respect that you've been doing this for 10 years. I mean, I've been doing videos for a little over 2 years now, and I just hit 500 this week of subscribers. And it's hard. It's harder for men to make it on YouTube. You really got to put the time in. And yeah, 10 years sounds about right to me. And, you know, I always joke about Modern Medusa here. She's about to hit 1,000. Nice. And she deserves it. You know, I give her shit all the time, but she absolutely deserves it. Every one of us deserves 1,000 subscribers. But, you know, we can lie to ourselves, but part of the reason why she's doing so well is because she's a woman. And people want to hear what a woman has to say over what a man has to say. So to be able to get to 500 is a huge achievement for myself, something I'm very proud about, because I've had to do video after video after video knowing that I'm not getting a lot of views. Hell, I've got 24 people watching right now, which is unusual for me. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what I've put in there. And I'm fucking disabled. I can't work. I can't do any of the things that I need to make my life better. And I am still trying every single day, no matter how much I hurt, to try to make myself better, to try to make my life mean something.
See, we need more people with your mentality, with our mentality. Hey, look, I understand, like, you're disabled. Some people are deaf. Some people are black. We can't use our victim card to be like, oh, so I need things. Like, wait, what? Like, government funding, obviously. That's one thing I'm totally down for. If you're disabled and you can't work, government funding, we're here to help each other. That's part of society, and I love that we do that with each other. But if you didn't post videos every day or have live streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays, if you sat on your ass just crying, no one's going to help you. No one's going to help you. Who's going to help you? Why would someone want to help you when you aren't even helping yourself? And that's what I see with these people the minority day, day without minorities. Remember that?
No.
The minorities just in droves didn't show up to work, and a lot of them were fired. I wonder why. You aren't showing up to work and you're bitching about what? Being a minority? No one's complaining about minorities. We're complaining about illegal immigrants taking from your tax dollars. That's what people are bitching about. Day without minorities? Yeah, I get it. Minorities work hard. No one's saying minorities don't work hard. But when you're sneaking into America and reaping all the benefits without paying into the system, you are now committing a crime. Why are we always calling them now undocumented? Are they afraid to use the word illegal?
Yeah. Well, let's as great as this conversation is, once again, definitely have to have you back, Andy, because you're a lot of fun. We do need to get moving forward. So
yeah, let's do it up. Let's do it, man.
So this will be a fun article to read. Retired baller.
Wait, you said retwat.
Yeah, I can't speak today. Stupid disability.
Just say retarded.
No, this woman I have a lot of respect for. So, retired baller Candace Wiggins says WNBA's culture was toxic and very, very harmful, especially because she's not gay.
Wow. See,
so,
if you don't have a victim card, you're immediately discriminated against. You're not gay? Well, then you're an asshole. What? Isn't that what we were trying to stop? We were trying to make the LGBTQ equal to us. We did it.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to knock us down? Fuck yourself.
Being black wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So Candace Wiggins had a stellar WNBA career, playing in the league from 2008 to 2015, being named the 6th Woman of the Year in her rookie season and helping the Minnesota Lynx win the championship in 2011. Too bad the Star Guard's experience in the league was mired by what she called a toxic culture. Here, let me zoom this up a bit. In speaking with the San Diego Union Tribune earlier this week, Wiggins called the WNBA's atmosphere very, very harmful and added that she was bullied throughout her 8 years in the league for being a star player and also because she was straight, estimating that 98% of the players in the WNBA are gay. Wiggins went as far as to state that the noxious culture paved the way for her to cut her career in the league short. I wanted to play two more.
Can I say something really quick? I'm just imagining her like in the locker room and all the women are going by and smacking her on the ass and she's just like really triggered. Like, God damn it, I hate this.
No, women are a lot more vicious than that. They probably took their period blood and wrote straight on her locker.
Wait, did that happen? No, you're joking.
No, it didn't happen, but I can imagine doing that.
I was about to fucking like that.
I believe it.
As she says, I wanted to play 2 more seasons, but the experience didn't lend itself to my mental state. It was depressing. It was a depressing state. It's not watched. Our value is diminished. It can be quite hard. I didn't like the culture inside, and without revealing too much, it was toxic for me. My spirit had been broken. Me being homosexual and straight, I was heterosexual and straight, 2 different things. And being vocal in my identity as a straight woman was huge. I would say that 98% of the women in the league are gay women. It was also a conformist type of place. There's a whole different set of rules that they, the players, could apply. People were deliberately trying to hurt me all the time. I've never been called the B word so many times in my life than when in my rookie season.
Holy shit, man. Wow. This is unbelievable. This is a fantastic article.
So the Players Association president, name I'll never pronounce if a gun was put to my head, said Wiggins' allegation should be taken seriously. Whether one agrees or disagrees with the comments made recently by a former player, or whether one has seen or experienced anything like what she has described, anything that impacts an inclusive culture should be taken seriously. So, yeah, she doesn't go into details about what's happened. So, I mean, we can only really take her word for it, but I know how vicious women can be, and I could believe it. I mean, I once knew a woman who, after having a family, having a husband and kids, felt that she was actually a lesbian and tried to join the lesbian community. And this was back in like late 80s, early 90s. And she said that it was such a toxic culture that lesbians hated her because she was a breeder. Because she had kids, that means that she wasn't a true lesbian.
It's like they don't want a discrimination, but they're completely fine with discriminating. Hey, if you want respect, you got to show it back. You got to show it back. That's the whole game, like society. That's what we've all agreed on. Okay, so it's like, we don't want black people to be slaves, obviously, because that's terrible. We don't want to oppress them, obviously, because that's terrible. Then they start oppressing us and wanting white people to die and fuck the police. Wait, at what point did you miss? We were trying to make it equal. At what point? And they're always fucking prepared to white people and slavery when a white person stops slavery. And I'm sure a lot of people back then were like, this is terrible. And only like 1% of white people owned slaves, if that. And black people sold slaves to white people.
Thomas Jefferson wanted slavery abolished in the original Constitution. And the rest, the other delegates fought with him and wouldn't sign is either a Declaration of Independence or the actual Constitution, wouldn't sign off on it if slaves were freed. Mm-hmm. So we had a white guy all those years back fighting for it. I guess he made it up to the black people by sleeping with them, but...
Well, see, that's the thing is like, I'm not gonna deny history and how horrible it was for black people. I mean, even like like in the 70s even, and that's why, of course, we need to stop racism. I'm obviously against the KKK and Nazis and skinheads and all that. Of course, I'm against all that stuff. But then when you start taking it a step too far and trying to oppress us, even though we had nothing, like every time they try and insult me, they show pictures that are black and white. They're like, look at these fountains. I'm like, are you showing me a black and white photo? I'm sorry, if your photos aren't in color, I'm not gonna take your shit seriously. Like, when you show like one of those old timey photos, it doesn't work on me because I wasn't there.
And it's not just the people, the social justice warriors in general, feminists and Black Lives Matter or whatever. It's also like the passive aggressive ones. Like I see so many women on my Facebook that are like, fuck men. We should fucking kill them all this shit, just passive aggressive. And then these black people saying like, oh, white people so angry. Oh, Becky so mad that because racism isn't real against white people or whatever. And I'm like, really? What the fuck? Like,
look, why we're mad is because you're burning down you're burning down your own city. That's quite upsetting. You should be more mad, in my opinion. You should be angry that your neighborhood's in fucking pieces right now. And I'm glad right now the police now are finally stepping up. Not at Berkeley, but after Berkeley was in New York. Anyone on the road who was protesting on the street were asked to leave the road and just protest on the sidewalk. And when they weren't doing that, as usual, finally the police just started arresting them. You're on the road, under arrest, under arrest. And they're all like, racism. It's like, I'm pretty sure there's an Asian cop and a black cop. The United Nations of police officers is arresting all of you right now for breaking the law. And in fact, you know the people, the BLM who were blocking the highways? If they do that now, 5 years in jail for blocking the highway.
Good.
Because you know what? That actually hurts their own cause. Because there was a report I once saw where a black guy is like, I'm going to be fired because I'm late to work because of this stupid protest.
Yeah.
They're hurting everyone. And the idea of, oh, we're trying to show people how we're impressed. Do you think only white people drive cars?
And also, there was one firefighter who had to take a detour because the highway was blocked. And then they took so much more time and the building was burned down. And he made a comment saying, like those BLM protesters don't realize what they're doing and blah, blah. And then he was suspended from being a firefighter because he voiced up this last year in November. He voiced up, said, what the fuck are they on the highway? I couldn't make it to my the fire in time. And then he's suspended. Oh, fuck that.
Fuck, dude.
And
all right, so we're going to go ahead and move on with our next article. Study, straight women are having fewer orgasms because of their useless partners.
I agree with, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm sure some men suck at sex or are you know, selfish in bed. But what's this article about?
So there's plenty of research literature in women's magazine articles, because that's a good source, that suggests men orgasm more often than women. I disagree with that, but a team of researchers from Chapman University and the Kinsey Institute, however, took their investigation into orgasm frequencies a step further by seeing how often gay men, lesbians, bisexuals, in addition to straight men and women, report climaxing. It's only the second study on the orgasm frequency, blah, blah, blah. More than 52,000 people participated in the survey, posting on NBCnews.com. Yeah, because I'm sure you're going to get a lot of good variety of people on a leftist news media site.
Wait, and first of all, gay men should not be included in this survey. I'm sorry. It's easy to make a man fucking come. If I was sucking dick, I know how my dick works. I never sucked a dick. Not because I don't want, I haven't had the urge to, let's just say that. But if I, let's say, you know, hey, Andy, $100,000, blow this, fine. I can make him come in 35 seconds. I'm pretty convinced because I know how my dick works. Gay men should not be included. We should make dudes come, especially when you're a dude who knows how a dick works. And girls can make dudes come easily too. So no.
Well, plus the fact that with gay men is that their asses tend to be tighter than women's asses.
How don't you go inside the asshole? It's so tight and feels amazing. Like, just saying. I mean, I've never been there, but I'm sure if I was there, it would be fucking awesome.
I want to say, though, in my experience, this is completely wrong because a girl has never made me orgasm in my entire life.
Yeah. There you go.
They have never. I've been with quite a few girls, and honestly, they don't know what they're doing because every vagina is different. They do what they think they like, and not everybody, not every girl comes from the same thing. So first of all, it's really hard to make a girl come. I didn't even know what an orgasm was until this year. So like literally, thank you. Yeah, it was by a dude who paid like super close attention to what I liked. And that's literally all you have to do. If you have a partner that you're mutually like really like sexually interested in, and you're like, all right, what can I let you like this, and then you can make each other explode.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I'm not gonna deny the fact that I'm sure a lot of men don't know how to make chicks come or whatever. But like you said, it's very difficult. I've had partners that can only come through oral sex. I've had some partners who are not down for oral sex. They're like, I just don't like the way it feels. Like it just feels, it tickles me, and I don't want to be tickled. I want to like feel pleasure. Like,
I used to be like that, honestly.
Yeah. And obviously, the more comfortable you are with something, the easier you'll blow your load to. But I'm not going to deny that there are dudes but you can't compare every experience to different types of sexual partners. I have gay friends, 2 of them in particular, who've told me stories where some dudes just like suck at it, or they're new to it and don't know, and they're still learning. It's a learning experience for everyone. And some people are really inexperienced, and then there are the lazy people or selfish people who want to just get their own rocks off, and that's it.
Well, I want to say to this before we continue reading on, is that first off, women, if you want a man to go down on you, clean that shit out. I've been down on plenty of women who just smell so awful. And it's like I can barely get the tongue out of my mouth because I can taste it before I even touched them. And I try, and I just can't do it because get a fucking douche and scrub that shit out. Do whatever women have to do to get it clean.
Yeah, there was one girl, like who I dated for a while, and every time I went down, it just tasted sour, like bitter.
Ooh, I hate that.
I don't know what maybe it was her diet, or I don't know, maybe she's like, I don't know like what makes it taste good and bad. I'm sure, like, I heard pineapple makes your cum taste amazing, or, like sweet fruits and all that stuff. But, yeah, I know. Seriously, wash yourself. And this is for dudes, too. Like, for example, when I was at a party and I knew I would hook up with a chick, or, like, I had, like, the inkling, I'd head into the washroom and wash my dick out in the fucking sink like a man. You have that thing where you step up and you're putting your balls and your dick in the sink. And you have to...
My boyfriend does that all the time.
I don't have time for shower, but I will be respectful.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm wondering how many of these women are judging it based on one night stands. Because a guy's not going to try and make you come on one night stand.
Yeah, and also, if you think about it, like the best sexual experiences that you can have is with someone on multiple occasions. The first time might be weird because you're still figuring out each other's bodies. By fuck 10, you know what this person likes, you know what their boundaries are, you know how to maybe push the boundaries a little bit and make them more comfortable.
Yeah.
And then it's fun for everyone. One night stands are always okay. They're okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing with all of this is that I kind of think back to the movie Chasing Amy, where Brody's talking about that he doesn't like to go down on girls. And of course, she's like, well, if you say smell, I'm going to hit you. It's like, no, it's not the smell. It's just that it's so complicated down there that women don't tell you what they want. They just expect you to already know. Yeah. And that's what Vanessa's saying here is like, with her boyfriend, who's a god amongst men, who earth-shattering orgasms, he actually talked to her about what she wanted. Hey, did that thing I did last time really work for you? Yes, no. Have the fucking conversations. But women need to be more open about that shit. If they're stimulated, say it. Don't expect a man to say it. And if you don't want it stimulated, tell a man. Because we're programmed that the way to get a girl off is to play with her clit. Yeah. If there's something different going on, tell us.
Yeah, and also, the one thing I learned pretty early on when a girl finally told me was, like, say you're down on a chick, right? And you're doing your thing and they're loving it. What we usually think we should do is speed up. Apparently, that's completely wrong. Keep doing the exact same thing you're doing for an extended period of time. Because when you start speeding up, you're changing the motion, therefore changing it. These are things I learned from girls who would speak. And also, as a guy, you have to tell the girl what you like as well. Some girls like too much teeth, or like fucking,
or squeezing too hard or too little.
Oh my god, my girlfriend, I tell her, you can't grab a dick that like tight, like it has to be a medium hold, not too soft, not too tight, like when you're just fucking you want to burst the fucking head off. No, sex is about communication, basically.
All right, let's get into this here. So the sample included 26,000 men and 24,000 women who identified as straight, gay, men, lesbian, and men. So it looked like, and 1,000 women who identified as bisexual. So except for the bisexual women, it looks like it was across the board. Mm-hmm. Although I don't see any bisexual men.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
In addition to gathering information about personal characteristics, including ethnicity, education, and number of children in the home, the survey inquired about sexual behavior. Participants were asked about frequency of receiving and giving oral sex, whether or not they've ever talked about sex with their partner, and if they've engaged in a variety of specific activities ranging from massage, taking sex-enhancing drugs, and wearing lingerie to spanking, recording the deed, and having a threesome.
What do these have to do with orgasms?
Well, this was asking a broad spectrum of things. It wasn't asking specifically about
orgasms. I was like, what the fuck? Are you saying the more threesomes you have, the more orgasms? I don't know.
Researchers also wanted to know specifics about the last time participants engaged in sexual behavior, if either partner had done anything to set the mood, such as talk dirty, play music, what activities took place from gentle kissing to anal. Why are you kissing anal?
Damn. 0 to 100 real quick.
How long the session lasted. So, after analyzing the data, the results confirm what's been described as the orgasm gap. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh!
Men were found more likely to come than a woman.
Yeah.
That's fucking, I hate that they added that word. Wage gap, orgasm gap. Yes, we are different types of beings. I have a dick and more testosterone. Vanessa, you have more estrogen and you have a vagina. We're different. Yes. We're aware of that.
I think Vanessa has a lot of testosterone and a vagina.
I'm sorry?
To be fair, I think she has a lot of testosterone. She's more like a dude.
Oh, true. So she knows how to fucking take control, right? I bet you're on top.
I got a good balance.
Yeah. Well, guys, I have to actually run, unfortunately. I was only able to stay till 3 p.m., but I'm having a lot of fun. I really wish I could stay longer. We should definitely do this again someday, maybe even next week.
Okay, well, yeah, we can do next week then.
Tuesday or Thursday. That's when. Well, it's on my channel on Tuesdays and then here on Thursdays.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I'll throw you a message. This was awesome. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
I hope I didn't ramble too. I usually ramble too much.
Yeah, you ramble a lot, but you're the guest, so.
Right. Well, thanks, guys, and yeah, I'll probably next week or something. All right. All right. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Peace out. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Later.
And now the views will start going down. But no, that was great having him on here. But let's go ahead and finish this article up. So more men were found more likely to come than women. What was interesting, however, was the differences between heterosexual and lesbian women and how frequently they reported orgasms during sex. 88% of lesbians said that they were usually or always came when they were intimate, compared to 65% of straight women. Now, I want to point this out, and this is not something that these studies seem to take into consideration, is, oh, they said, when was the last time you had sex? But, you know, I've talked to some bisexual and lesbian women, and something that they've told me that's remained consistent is that women on women doesn't actually happen that often. Even in lesbian partnerships, they don't actually have sex that often. They maybe have it once a week or once every 2 weeks. Now, some, you know, when they start off, they're probably going at it constantly, but once they kind of get into living with each other, it's just not that common. Whereas women in a heterosexual relationship, they tend to do it, a healthy relationship tends to be like 3 to 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I can't relate to this at all because I have never came from a girl. Like, I gotten kind of close just because of my doing. Like, I had to do stuff to but I still did an orgasm, and it's like, well, it just kind of makes you wonder, like, what kind of people women are going for, you know? It's like, like this video I watched the other day, this guy was talking about how, you know, the guys that women choose are always well, not always, but they're usually the alpha males, you know, the guys that are just manly and sexy or whatever to women. And, you know, that's what the general population goes for. But those kind of people aren't always necessarily going to, you know, have the correct communication skills or whatever to be able to do whatever you want them to do. Whereas, like, if someone met you, Mad Cat, like, or anybody like you that would actually listen, you know, like we were just talking about, it's like, oh, wow, I'm actually coming a lot more. What a coincidence.
Yes, ladies, I will listen to your needs. Well, and, you know, for me, I've never orgasmed during oral sex.
Yeah,
man or woman. And it's funny, the response that I get from that whenever I tell a woman that, men, they don't really react to that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But when a woman hears that, they hear it as it's a challenge. It's like, oh, I'll make you come. I've made every guy I've ever sucked their dick, I've made them come. And of course, they don't do it with me. And many of them will give me a guilt trip for it. They'll do it in a passive way. It's like, oh, I failed you. I didn't make you come. You must have hated having sex with me. And it's like, no, I still enjoyed having sex with you. Even if, because I also have the problem, especially if I'm wearing a condom, that I'm not going to ejaculate during sex. I can last for like an hour straight and not orgasm. And yet there's this whole focus on orgasms. And I understand there's such a great feeling, but you know what? It's not the end-all be-all of sex. I mean, you said it yourself that you went most of your life not having an orgasm. I mean, did you not enjoy sex because you didn't have an orgasm?
I'm a nymphomaniac, that's what I'm saying. I had sex a lot. But, I mean, well, that's another thing, like, about the blowjobs. I've had a lot of guys say that before, and I mean, for me, it's always worked. You know, but you know, it's true. You know, if I sucked your dick, there's no guarantee that you like what I did. Or it's just, you know, different genitals and stuff like that. It's like you can't just expect everything to be the same. But I would never fucking tell a guy like, oh, I didn't make you come, therefore you're, you know, I feel so bad, and like that's fucking stupid. And what you said about orgasms not being, you know, necessarily the goal or whatever, it's like yesterday, I'm just gonna be completely honest about this. Like Andrew worked like an hour at making me orgasm, and then we had sex and he orgasmed, and it's like, you know, I didn't it's not a straight timeline. It's not like you fucking plan out, you shouldn't plan out sex or having orgasms or anything. You should just keep having fun. That's what sex is for. It's about having fun.
Yeah, I remember the last girl I dated before my injury. Actually, one of the last girls I dated. I'm a slut, but she had problems in our sex life because I never engaged in foreplay with her, and it's like, bitch, I can't just turn that shit on. It has to start like several hours before we have sex. You've got to be, you know, affectionate, you know, you've got to be in the moment, you know. The reason why we don't do it is because you don't really respond to it. So that's why we go to the straight fucking. It's like, because she gets in bed, it's like, okay, let's fuck. And it's like, oh yeah, I feel turned on. I mean, sure, my dick's hard, but my imagination's not there. You know, it's like, there's this, and you know, men and women do this to each other. It's not just women, but, you know, it's like, yeah, sex is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a chore. It's not something you're supposed to do now just because you're adults and living on your own. It should be something that you strive to do and want to do as well as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the thing that I hate, and especially with all hot women except for Vanessa here, as she's told me, that it's like the hotter you are, the less work you have to do in sex.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I kind of prefer dating women that are not like super, super gorgeous, because I want a girl who wants to participate in what we're doing. I mean, I once dated a girl that was like below, like right below the cuteness line, who did this trick of putting a condom in her mouth and then putting it on my dick as she sucked me. And it's like, that's actual work. Oh my God, that's awesome.
That sounds really gross.
I had sex with a hot girl and she just lays there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I will say I have taken advantage of that before, you know, because I know I'm attractive, and it's like, I have been like, you know, I don't really want to necessarily have sex with this person that much, so I'm just gonna not do anything and see how it goes. But I don't do that anymore, obviously, because I have someone who I actually enjoy having sex with.
So yeah, this collected a wide range of things, so it wasn't really trying to find out something specific. And the problem is it doesn't take into consideration, one, the frequency of sex, but two, it didn't ask anything about the difficulty in orgasming. I mean, just because, you know, maybe heterosexual women do have less orgasms than lesbian women. But then, you know, maybe there's something to that. Maybe because lesbian women tend to have pussies that are highly sensitive, that can more easily ejaculate than straight women. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
I'm sure there's a lot
you
of
don't ask that question, it kind of makes it really seem a certain way that men just don't care. And I think men do care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've known girls that don't ejaculate when they, you know, play with themselves. When they masturbate, they don't get a orgasm.
I never figured it out until I got some really high-powered toys. You know, I couldn't fucking do it.
No.
But I mean, that's, you know, you just gotta talk to your partner. That's all you have to do.
All right, so that's basically what this article is. And, you know, even just talking about this, about the results, this was entirely a clickbait title. Straight women are having fewer orgasms because of their useless partner. Gee, are you a feminist? Because you definitely are a man hater. So let us move on to Pamela Anderson. So I won't play this video because we'll be talking about what she specifically says. But Pamela Anderson has revealed that she wants to start campaigning for men who've been falsely accused of rape. The former Baywatch actress and glamour model is now an activist, and she has criticized Sweden for almost paralyzing laws against sexual crimes. Speaking on RT's Going Underground, she said Sweden has these very progressive laws against sexual crime, whatever you want to call it. It's almost too progressive. It's almost paralyzing. I'm going to start campaigning for men who have been victims of being accused of rape when they haven't actually done anything.
At least she's trying to be logical.
Yeah. The star, who has previously campaigned for women's rights and against domestic violence, insisted that Sweden as a nation doesn't really know what to do. She added, "We of course gravitate towards vulnerable people, and we consider that to be women and children first and foremost, which is important, but there's also a lot of men out there who are in a vulnerable situation." She also defended her close friend, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, who has been in Ecuador's London embassy since 2012 to avoid extradition over sexual assault allegation, which he denies. So, and this is probably where all of this started from, is that, you know, for whatever reason, they're friends. Good for them. And, of course, he's been... I do think that the charges are bogus, given everything that he's done to try to bring light of Hillary Clinton. But I kind of feel like she's only getting into this because it's someone personal to her, which usually happens. Like, we hear about these feminists. There was like this one famous case where this feminist lawyer was like all about like college is a cesspool for men just raping women all the time, until her son was accused of rape and had to go through the school's court system and got treated unfairly. And had she not stepped in as a lawyer to defend her son, he would have been thrown out. And now she's like, wait a minute, something's off here. So that's understandable, that it's something personal for her, and now she's kind of waking up. But she's also doing this just for Sweden and not for the Western world as a whole. But I can't help but like question her motives, because this is the same woman months ago who criticized the porn industry as being bad for women. Like, oh yeah, porn is really bad. And it's like, bitch, you made your stardom because of porn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, porn is what made you what you are, and you're turning your back on it and saying anyone who watches it is somehow bad and that it's bad for women.
So you said that was only a few months ago she said that?
Yeah. It was back in like October, I think.
That's interesting. Well, see, I think maybe it would have made a little sense if she pointed out specific criticisms of the porn industry, like maybe, you know, that it can be very emotionally and physically exhausting. That's true. You know, women can often, and yeah, some women can be abused or slightly taken over the top when they didn't want to. But that's what you should expect when getting into the porn industry in the first place. If you're expecting to make a living off of sex, you have to be mentally and physically prepared for it. Like, I could be doing porn right now, but I know I'd probably be shit at it because I'm not in shape. You know, so it's like,
compared to that girl you showed me today, like, you have the perfect body.
Oh.
You know the one I'm talking about.
But, like, I feel like she's trying to come from a good place, maybe, but saying that it's outright just bad when, she star, that's kind of, hypocritical. But what were you saying? What you were saying before about how her son was accused of rape? Maybe, hopefully that was just a wake-up call, and maybe she's going, on starting path, but it definitely seems like she's a little confused.
Well, no, Pamela Anderson's son wasn't accused of rape. It was another woman whose son was accused of rape, who was a staunch feminist and started questioning her feminist belief after what happened to her son. Okay,
yeah. Well, that, and then with this guy right here or whatever, who she personally knows that got accused.
Right.
She, I'm sure a lot of women, like, how Hannah Wallen, she, her husband or something that was accused of something, and they had to go through the courts and all this shit, and she it was a big fucking deal, but at least she found out that there was something to fight for, so that more people can find out about it as well. And but it is sad.
Well, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but given her anti-porn rhetoric, I'm a little slow to do so. But, it's important that someone talks about this, and I am happy for that. I'm happy that Pamela Anderson is, trying to get a discussion going about this. But I would prefer that she was doing it for the Western world, which would include Sweden and not just Sweden specifically. Because then, because then when we talk about, like, oh, well, Pamela Anderson, a woman who's fought for domestic violence, against domestic violence, the obvious thing a feminist could say is, well, she's only doing it for Sweden. She's not doing it for the Western world because the Western world doesn't have a problem, just Sweden. And isn't Sweden like the rape capital of the world? So,
yeah, well, yeah, it doesn't really make sense that she's only going after Sweden, but I guess maybe that's what she was specifically asked about, maybe. Can I just ask, though, what the fuck is on her head?
I don't know.
Did she make that, or was it like some kid who just made that for her? I've just been staring at this like, what? Is this a porn set? Or, because it looks like a really bad one.
No, it's an actual interview. She hasn't done porn for many, many years, so. All right, so we're going to do one more article real quick, and then we're going to end this. We'll end on a funny note. University of Washington Tacoma declares proper grammar is racist.
New, that's a new definition to grammar Nazi.
So it's telling students that expecting Americans to use proper grammar perpetuates racism.
How about spelling?
A press release put out by UW's Tacoma's Writing Center argues that there is no inherent standard of English, and that pressure to conform to proper American grammar standards perpetuates systems of racism. Linguistics and writing research has shown clearly for many decades that there is no inherent standard of English, claims the Writing Center statement. Language is constantly changing. These two facts make it difficult to justify placing people in hierarchies or restricting opportunities and privileges because of the way people communicate in particular versions of English. It is a founding assumption that if believed, one must act differently than we, the institution and its agents, have up to this point.
So
racism is pervasive. It's in systems, structures, rules, languages, expectations, and guidelines that make up our classes, school, and society.
So if some hood rat comes in and writes a fucking essay using words like lit and fam and finna, that's okay because it's racist to fucking criticize that. Yeah, language changes, but that doesn't mean that you have to. What? Okay.
English exists. We have a standard that everyone uses, even the differences in how we speak. Say how a New Yorker speaks and a Southerner talks, or someone on the East Coast and the West Coast. There are differences, there are accents and what have you, but it's all based on one source. And that one source is what allows us to communicate with each other. Yeah, there's slangs, there's words that people make up to describe something when there's an obviously better word, but there's still a common point. And that's why we teach language, proper English, as a way to speak, because everything starts from there.
Like, what are they gonna start like not teaching grammar properly, or is it gonna be like a theoretical thing? Like, oh yeah, grammar is just a theory. We just we kind of just put words together, and if they kind of make a sentence, then yeah, it works.
You know, I'm going to go to the University of Washington and just go, ugh, 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 ugh. And write down every answer as ugh. And if they fail me, I'm just going to go, ugh, ugh, that's racist. Ugh, ugh, ugh.
Wait,
well, Monday Matt gave a very good possibility of why this is happening, which I think is what's actually happening here, is that colleges are losing money right now. And they're losing money because, well, they're alienating their students, especially male students, that, you know, even if there's the chance that you could be accused of rape, you're immediately thrown out. And less people are wanting to go to college now, especially with the high costs and the fact that you're going to be in debt for the rest of your life because you went to college, and that most jobs nowadays don't really require college so much as they prefer that you had college, that you could learn anything you need to online for yourself. So colleges are actually now lowering the standard so they can get more students in. This is a publicity stunt to try to get more uneducated people into college by saying, no, you don't need to understand English. That's just racist. So someone can's like, what do you mean I don't talk well? That's racist. Racist.
I think this is just an excuse for, no offense, but minorities to continue inappropriately but not get criticized for it. And like Like there are people, and I guess it's not even necessarily minorities, because I know Southern people and, you know, people around here. I hear so many people speaking like idiots. And I'm like, you obviously have never gone to college and you never will go to college. But it's like, you still gotta sound somewhat intelligent to be able to get through life. Because if you don't, then what are you doing? Like you're just like, it's the way you carry yourself. Like there are people, depending on where you grow up and who you grow up with and how you're taught, fucking idiot, or you sound like a well-versed human being. And it's like, I meet people every day where I hear a few words out of their mouth and I'm just like, God damn, you're fucking dumb. And I can't even imagine being a teacher or like a professor at a university and getting a paper that's just fucking terrible grammar, shitty ass grammar, just like using words that don't even exist or fucking combining words or whatever. Just completely misspelling things and then not being able, like, you know, you as an author, I'm sure you'd be like, no, this is bullshit.
I get that, actually. I get that all the fucking time. I mean, I try to help out other writers, you know, people who want to publish and, you know, get their work out there. And it's like, sure, I'll go ahead and take a look at it. And there's a lot of things wrong. Their content, you know, there's like so many plot holes in it. But there's also like wording and grammar, punctuation, what have you. And I point all of this out to them because that's what a beta reader is supposed to do. And they have such self-serving bias that their immediate response is, oh, well, you're the only one who's saying anything. And it's like, and just because I'm the only one saying something doesn't immediately make me wrong. That's appeal to authority. That if everyone else says that your work is a masterpiece, and I'm the one telling you the truth that no, it's not, it needs some serious work, that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. And it's just, people want to be in this culture where only people say positive things. And if you say something negative, you're just a hateful fuck. Well, you know what? Go ahead, publish your story and watch how many people downvote you because your story is awful. But hey, at least you'll feel good about yourself, right? No, you won't. You won't feel good because people are downvoting you? Huh, I wonder why. I guess you could just say that everyone's racist now because they consider your book a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's another thing. I illustrated a book for someone, and I've read maybe half of their book. Way into it, and yet, so it's, you know, it's not a big deal if I talk about it. But
you couldn't
what?
There was a hiccup there. We didn't hear what you actually said about why the book was bad.
Well, the way that he wrote it, like, basically, it was just really bad. I'll show it to you later. But it's like, it was a really thick, like 50-page book. It was supposed to be for children. Just the way they're really hard to follow, hard to understand, and about it because he was the one that oh yeah, that's how he likes to write. And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah, he's sent it to editors before and they've tried to fix it, but he doesn't want him to fix it. He likes the misspellings and he likes the grammatical errors. So that's like, you know, if you want to do your own thing, that's fine. But would you put it in schools? That's like, why would you people not to criticize people who are supposed to be learning. That's the thing. Like, you're supposed to be learning and you're trying to dumb them down. That's fucking stupid. Ugh.
At the end of the day, colleges are businesses. That's it. They want your money. And the way the system is set up, all you have to do is apply and they get your money. You could drop out the next day. They're going to get paid their $20,000, $30,000 because of the government. The government is going to give it to them. And then you owe the government money.
Yeah.
And that's all they want. They want more and more money. And, you know, colleges would actually do them a favor if they got rid of half of their faculty. Most of it is just useless appendage that's just there because they want people to have jobs. Like, they have to have 3 equality administrators. Bitch, you only need 1. In fact, you don't even need 1. Get rid of the entire department. Equality coordinator? What the fuck is that? Get that fuck out of here. You know, you want an equality coordinator. How about you set up a business somewhere, have an equality coordinator, have 3 if you want, if you can afford it. But don't use taxpayers' money for this bullshit, because all that does is increase the cost of college. Because now the tuition that I can get from the government has to go to pay their salaries just so I can get an education.
Yeah.
You know, if colleges want to get more students in, 1, they got to stop expelling people at the drop of a hat, and 2, lower their costs. Now, I'm not saying that colleges should be free. I'm actually against that idea because that still has to come from the taxpayer, but lower their costs. Not make it like I have to owe money to the mob for the rest of my life because I tried to do right and get an education.
Mm-hmm.
But all of this is just trying to lower the standards so students who wouldn't have been able to get into college now can. Just like how some colleges have removed math requirements from degrees just so that more women will be able to graduate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fucking stupid. Like, that's what's so fucked up. Like, everything about college, like, it's nothing to do with learning anymore. It's get in there. You gotta be diverse. You gotta. Doesn't really matter if you have money or not. You just gotta be diverse, and it doesn't matter what kind of fucking, you know, doesn't matter what you take. You can be fucking, you know, gender studies, any fucking bullshit you want. And then we'll spit you back out, and maybe something will happen. Not usually, if you're not if you're not going for something that guarantees a job. Then, and that's what's also pretty sad, is that people are going into college with no fucking skills, no fucking idea of how to even build any skills, and they don't try. They're just like, I think I'll learn about some stuff that maybe, you know, is not too hard to remember.
Well, that's another thing, is that they're trying to change STEM so that it's more inclusive to women, not have to teach the hard facts that oppress women.
Right, like science is hard, so let's
facts.
come it down.
STEM is about theories and facts, and I know those 2 words mean practically the same thing, but that's what STEM is. Don't change it to lower the standard. I mean, you know, in 50 years, we're going to have shit that doesn't work because we had a bunch of social justice warrior retards pass a STEM class, and now they're making our crap that just doesn't work. You know, I made the joke the other day that because, you know, math is inherently sexist since it was founded by men, feminists invented their own math, but it's only accurate 77% of the time, now called the math gap.
god.
And if something doesn't work, then that's just the tool of the patriarchy.
Dude.
That's what I'm afraid of with this. College is becoming a joke. I'm glad I went to college before all this shit really went down.
Yeah. I'm not even that encouraged to or motivated to go to college anymore. I'm still going to because I guess to try and get some sort of education. But it's like, don't want with the online schooling that I've done, had to take a fucking test that was like made me answer questions like what is cisgender and fucking consent shit questions. And I'm just like, I can't imagine if I was actually like going to this school, all the fucking bullshit I'd have to hear every day. I don't even want to be involved in that. It's like, actually, it was sometimes. Like, what'd you say?
Ahead.
Sometimes I want to take a women's studies class just to fucking laugh in class.
Well, it was like in the pre-show we were talking with Andy, and he was telling us about Chris. Chris, by the way, is the Asian guy that we never know what his name is. It's Chris. It's easy for me to remember because my name is Chris. But Chris, you know, I guess he was getting his degree in counseling or whatever, or psychology or whatever. And because of how well they're doing on YouTube, after doing it for like 6 years, they're finally making a profit. So I have to wait 4 more years before I make a profit. But because they were starting to make a living at it, he left school. And he was like 8 months away from getting his master's. I don't know if I'm supposed to reveal that fact. So Andy, don't hate me if that was confidential. But it's like I said to Andy, you know, if it was 10 years ago, I probably would have yelled at Chris that he was a stupid moron for not just doing the last 8 months to get his master's. But now I'm like, dude, you shouldn't have gone that far. You should quit long ago because college is a joke.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm just glad I'm not near like a really big campus or anything. Like the one that I'm next to, I mean, it's kind of large, but there's not a lot of social justice-y people around here. But actually, I think the University of Charlotte in North Carolina is one of them where some protests went on a while ago. But yeah, besides that, I don't even want to like like everything about academia just makes me cringe.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and end the show here. We're kind of coming up on our 2-hour mark. So sorry for the delay today. We were having some technical difficulties, so we had to delay it for an hour. But thank you, everyone who showed up. I know it's mostly for Andy and Medusa. There's just no love for me.
you guys
No, I just got 500. I'm ecstatic about that. So
yeah, subscribe to him so you can see these streams every week.
I thought she was going to say subscribe to me so you can see these tits.
Yeah, see these titties.
But some news. I am going to be doing a roast. I'm definitely going to have Modern Medusa here. We'll see her get to insult me, which will be a nice change because I'm always insulting her. I'm trying to get Reading Ren, Missy J, Magnus Deacon, and Omegadon. I don't know if I'll be getting anyone else. If you have suggestions, let me know. I have sent an email to Mercedes to come on my show. I mean, I do owe her a lot of things, but, you know, if you got any other suggestions on who should be on my show, just post a comment down below. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a live roast, probably in the PM sometime. I don't know when specifically, but probably in like 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be doing a live roast. So, any final things you want to say before we get going today, Vanessa?
Well, it was a lot of fun, definitely. You guys should come in and subscribe to me. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I think people want me to do a live stream. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
well, what you should do is you should do a workout with other women.
I'm doing that every week, though.
I mean, a live stream.
Yeah.
What, you're doing a live stream of women working out, and you're now telling me?
I haven't started it yet. I'm thinking about it.
Well, you said you do that all the time. How can you do a live stream all the time if you haven't actually done it? Work with me, woman.
What? I'm confused now.
Obviously. I don't know. One of these days, you should do like a strip show playing D&D. Like every time you take damage, you have to take like an article of clothing off.
Well, yeah, but then I just wear like a shit ton of clothes.
Well, yeah, that's the fun. All right, so that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I didn't get a chance to thank Andy for coming on to our live stream. It was a great pleasure having him on there. If you want to subscribe to him, he is a great guy. He also has an Asian counterpart that wasn't on the show today because, well, slaves don't need as much freedom, so, you know. But you can find him, Andy Warski. Just type in the name from this title here in the YouTube. You'll find him. Funny guy, big channel. You also got Modern Medusa. You can find her very easily. She now appears at the top of search results, so, you know, that's how much of a whore she is.
Yep.
And, of course, for me, you know, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button so other people can find me. And check out my description box down below. You'll find a list of the articles and some we didn't talk about today. You'll also find my Patreon. Please donate to me. I am trying to save up money to get health insurance. I mean, I'm on Medicaid, but, you know, that's just basically useless insurance. I want actual insurance so I can get a doctor to actually help me. I'm also trying to get a better computer so I can do better quality videos, which I think would actually help me, you know, make more doing Patreon. So, but I do want to make better quality for all of you because, you know, there's a lot I want to do, but my computer is just not really capable of doing it. But if you're not comfortable doing Patreon, perfectly understandable. There's a link below that for my book. I'm an author. I have like 4 published books out there. The one link there, the first one is free. It is the prologue to the second book, which is only $2.99. It's about 5 men. There is like there's no main female character in this story at all. I mean, there are a lot of like minor female characters here and there, but this is just about men. Now, it wasn't my goal to do that. It's just what ended up happening. And sooner or later in this long series, there will be prominent women. But in this story here, there are no strong women. Although there is a scene where there's a woman walking around naked that I modeled after Mercedes Carrera. Just go ahead and get the book. And if you like it, give me a review. And if you don't like it, well, you can still give me a review, but I prefer if you didn't. But, you know, give me a review, buy the book if you don't want to do the Patreon. Anything you want to shill?
Yeah, well, yeah, for every $5 donated to my PayPal or Patreon, I post another boob or ass gif. So, yeah, not naked, but, you know, go to my Twitter and you'll know what I'm talking about. That's the best. It's like my main income right now.
All right. Well, you know, Thank you again for everyone coming out. I love talking to you guys in chat. You know, if Mother Medusa gets 1,000, she will show her tits. No, she won't. But that would be fun if that was true.
Keep telling them that.
Oh, you'll make 1,000 by tomorrow. You're a chick on YouTube.
Oh, whatevs. I'm a try.
Anyways, that does it. I keep saying that. God damn it. I need to find something else to say. Anyways, this is Dix.
And Boobs.
Everyone take care.